Welcome back, Fayettes and Fantasy Fiends. You're listening to Book for Two. I'm Scott.
And I'm Genevieve. If you're new here, welcome to our brand of chaos.
We bring the male and female perspectives, the wild theories, the heated debates, and of course,
the couples banter you never knew you needed, but now you can't escape.
She likes her books loaded with spice, betrayal, enough brooding fey males to qualify as an emotional support animal.
And he likes his stacked with world-ending stakes, gritty fight scenes, and character trauma he absolutely wasn't prepared for.
Every week, we dive into the books that absolutely wreck your soul and make you cancel plans. And right now, we're ripping through the entire Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas.
And once a month, we shake things up with a standalone book review. Next up, Iron Flame! So, if you love unhinged theories, emotional damage, and two readers yelling about their fictional obsessions, you're in the right place. Oh, and before we forget, let's talk about book club.
Yes, the one where we actually read the book this time. Probably.
Probably. The next meeting is Friday, June 13th at 6 p.m. Central at Salt and Story in Niceville, Florida.
Locals, come hang out. It's free, it's fun, and we promise not to aggressively analyze the smut unless you want us to.
And for everyone not in the Panhandle, you can still join us on Discord. Same time, same chaos.
This month, we're diving into A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. So come prepared for Norse vibes, blood magic, and hopefully some morally questionable decisions.
I've heard reviews on both sides of this book, so this book club might be pretty interesting. The link to join the Discord is in our show notes and on our socials. Just look for the Chaos Crew.
Now, it's time for our Gin Rummy update. I'm happy to announce I have taken the lead, and the score is now 2,051 to 1,988.
Listen, I felt bad that you didn't get to win it all yet, so I let you start winning. Yeah.
You felt bad?
Yeah, so I let you start winning.
I mean, if anyone felt bad, it was Fate. The cards are not with you right now.
No,
They're
are
not at all.
It was so bad the other night that I actually had to throw the white flag. I was like, there is nothing happening. I'm not getting anything. And it wasn't any fun anymore.
Well, the worst part is you were just dealing me bangers. You would deal out the hand, I'd automatically have a full set and then almost another set. And then next card that pops up fixes that set. So I'm like, well, shit, I already got two sets.
Yeah. You were calling Jin.
Yeah, within like 4 or 5 turns.
It was,
which is absolutely insane.
That was no fun. And I was like, okay, white flag. I got to call it today. Just the gods were like, no.
Right.
All right. Before we hit play on the trauma, though, 2 quick warnings. This episode contains spoilers for Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and The Assassin's Blade. If you're not caught up, consider this your official spoiler shield.
Also, fair heads up, this is an adult content show. We swear like assassins with trauma, talk about murder like it's foreplay. And yes, we get very descriptive when things start heating up between characters. You have been warned.
It's time for the finale to The Assassin's Blade. Last week, we kicked off The Assassin and the Empire. Celaena and Sam were finally out of the guild, trying to live like, semi-functional humans.
They scraped together enough coin to pay off Arobin fully. No more strings, no more manipulations, just vibes and vague trauma.
Sam lines up a final job. Take out Io and Jane and Rourke Farron. Real big bads of the Empire's criminal underworld. Totally reasonable targets for 2 freelancers trying to escape their murdery past, right?
Even Arobin's like, yo, maybe don't do this, which tells you how bad this is. But it's their ticket out. Southern continent dreams and all. One last mission, or so they think.
But with whispers in the shadows and too many eyes on their every move, can they actually pull it off? Will this be the job that sets them free, or the one that finishes what Arobin started?
All right, real quick before we dive into the drama, it's shameless plug time. Sub, review, follow us on socials, do all the algorithm things. It keeps this chaos train rolling and helps other book nerds find us before they disappear into another reading slump.
Speaking of chaos, follow us on TikTok for sneak peeks. Saturday, Sunday, chapter announcements, and we are back to doing lives on Thursdays now at 7:30 p.m. Central. Sometimes we deep dives. Sometimes Scott gets forced to read spicy scenes. It's a total vibe. Come hang out.
Also, get your butt in our Discord. If you've ever screamed about a plot twist at 2 a.m. and wanted someone to scream back, we've got you. The Chaos Crew is growing fast, and it's unhinged in the best way. Links in the show notes and on socials. Come yell with us.
And if you're more of a visual gremlin, yes, we're on YouTube now. Full episodes, full facial expressions, and full spirals in glorious HD.
Now, small disclaimer, we did hit a little tech speed bump, so video uploads on YouTube are on a short break, but we're on it. The struggle bus is parked, the engine's running, and we've almost figured out how to drive it. Thanks for being patient while we pretend to be tech people.
And last but not least, check out the merch. Stickers and bookmarks are up at bookedfor2.com, so grab something cute and chaotic. All right, spoiler warning's been dropped, the tea is hot, and the chaos is ready.
And now let's dive into the finale of The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas.
Let's turn the page.
Tick, tick, tick in Chapter 6.
Staring down the clock.
Rifthold is too quiet, time is too loud, and Celaena's patience is wearing thin. Welcome to Chapter 6.
We jump to the next night, and Celaena's posted up in her apartment, where it's apparently always 9 o'clock. Time has left the building. She's supposed to be packing. Instead, she's done everything short of alphabetizing the spice rack. She's read the same paragraph 50 times, rearranged the furniture with her eyes, mentally unpacked her emotional trauma, but pack her actual bags? That's not happening. Because Sam is out there trying to kill Farron, alone. And every minute that drags by feels like the walls are inching closer.
If that's not ADHD, I don't know what is.
Right?
Why the hell was it taking so long? Farron's movements were unpredictable as it was, but still, every second that ticked felt like a red flag flapping in her face. Maybe Sam had already done it and was just laying low, or maybe something had gone sideways. Either way, the not knowing was gnawing at her. She wanted to bolt out the door and find him, but where would she even start? So yeah, maybe she'd finally pack. Tomorrow night was her turn to kill Jane, and when that was done, they needed to ghost out of Rifthold fast. And still, the fucking clock barely moved.
When the clock finally struck 11, that was it. Game over. No more pacing, no more pretending to wait it out. She suited up in her stealth gear, super suit, extra weapons, backup blades, emotional baggage, everything. Let's go. Sam should have been back by now. And sure, technically, she promised not to go after him for another hour, but that clock could go to hell. She was done waiting. The slums were silent. There were no whispers, no shadows, no murmurs of Farron's death echoing down the alleys. Okay, all right. And in Jane's neighborhood, people were out strolling like it was a damn festival. Couples were holding hands. The lanterns were flickering. The vibe was aggressively normal. Okay, fine.
She swept through every spot Sam had mapped for the hit. Rooftops, alleys, lookout points. Nada. No blood. No weapons. No Farron corpse dramatically draped over a crate. Even Jane's house looked boring as hell. Lights on, guards half asleep, zero chaos, total civilian mode. And now the spiral kicked in. What if she missed Sam heading back? Shit, he was going to be so mad. Especially since she'd pulled a full Black Widow, geared up like an Avenger, and bailed early. She turned and booked it for the apartment.
Uh-oh. Well, hopefully she missed him, right?
Look, we don't have to pretend here. You and I,
Good.
look, because
This sucks.
Well,
I hate this.
yes, it sucks, but if this was our first time reading it, yes, we would say, uh-oh, what's happening? Where is he? We know.
So my question is,
Yes.
this is the only question I've really got, is like, at what point could she have saved him? What if she had been there at the beginning? But what if she'd been caught in whatever he was caught in? This was a trap, right? That's what this looks like.
I'm wondering if they were supposed to go together and then they were going to trap them. He was, Sam was supposed to get killed and she was still going to go to Endovier. That was probably still part of the plan, but they weren't counting on Sam telling her ass to stay at home and pack. So I think even if she would have went, they still both would have been caught. I think the plan was to catch both at the same time.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Anticipate that they'll both be there because they wouldn't have known that they were splitting up. Okay.
Yeah, there's no way they would have known that. Or, I mean, they might have anticipated it. They probably had plan A and plan B.
Yeah. And all the way through Z.
So plan B, because, it's Arobin.
Yeah.
So he knows his shit. And this Farron dude doesn't seem like a fucking retard either.
No.
Dude's smart as shit.
Yeah. He's wandering around in his carriage all willy-nilly. Nobody can get to him, or so he thinks. So
yeah. All right. Well, we're getting close to it. So we should probably turn the page and just face it head forth. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. All right.
Just face it. All right.
Let's do it. Let's go. No sign of heaven in chapter 7.
Oh my God, that's morose. Oh my God. Oh, now I gotta say this. The clock strikes grief.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, everybody.
When time stops mattering and the silence starts screaming. Let's get into chapter 7.
Well, Sam wasn't at the apartment. The clock said 1 a.m. and she just stood there staring at it like maybe if she glared hard enough, it would change. Like maybe this was a thing that was broken. Not the plan, not the night. She started pacing in front of the fire. The clock struck 2. I mean, he'd be home any minute, any damn minute.
At some point, she must have passed out because the clock chimed 4 and startled her awake. And for a second, she thought maybe he was back. Maybe she had just missed the sound of the door. She tried to convince herself to go check the keep. Maybe he crashed there for the night. But her body had other plans and her eyes closed again. And this time, she didn't fight it.
The dawn sun hit her like a slap as she tore through the slums, then the fancy streets, scouring every rooftop, every alley, like she was on a damn Witcher contract with nothing but desperation and instinct driving her. She checked the banks of the Avery. No Farron, no Sam, no bodies. She told herself she was being ridiculous. He was probably already back, waiting to call her silly and kiss her like nothing happened. Then she'd take out Jane and they'd finally be free. He had to be waiting at home, right? Right the hell now.
It was noon by the... Oh, man, I'm already getting choked up.
Oh, God. You need me to read it? All right, take your time. You want me to take it? It was noon by the time she made it back. She'd already checked once earlier, but the apartment had been empty. So she kept going. One more street, one more rooftop, one more maybe. This time when she reached the door, it was cracked open. Her breath caught. Oh, he was going to get it. The yelling, the kissing, then more yelling. How dare he? Arabin Hamill was sitting on her couch, and everything stopped. He stood slowly, and when she saw his face, she knew it before he whispered the words, "I'm sorry."
How dare he be sitting on her couch?
Well,
at least this time he left her door open, but that was a mind fuck in and of itself.
Yeah.
Thank you for reading that.
No problem. No problem. I mean, it was a tough scene. Even though we read it before, we knew that this was coming. We knew Sam was going to die before even reading this book.
I wrote this. I wrote the notes.
Yeah.
I cried each time.
And it's not that I'm not sad. You and I have talked about this, how I feel. It's because I did not allow myself to get attached to Sam in this book because I knew he was going to die. So I still obviously find it sad knowing he's dead, knowing that he was going to die, and knowing that it's Celaena's first love. And that does make me sad. Again, I did not allow myself to get attached.
Like if this were Kale, this would be a totally different story.
Yes, because it's different. Because I don't know if he's gonna die, live. I mean, obviously we kind of know because of spoilers and all that stuff that we've seen. But still, it's just different when you know something's gonna happen.
That clearly did not help me.
But that's different though, because as you mentioned, we are both different types of readers. You are a feeling reader. You read with your feelings, and not that I don't feel too, because you've seen me cry, bust up laughing whenever I read and stuff, but I'm a little bit more just detailed because I don't have that whole movie scene picture in my head like you do, like most people do. So I have to read a little bit more carefully. And so I can't.
You were able to detach yourself from this.
Exactly. So I have to really feel the feelings. I can't just read like you, where it's like very smooth reading style and you can just feel everything all at once. I have to really get in there detailed. Yeah. But especially if I already know the character's going to die. Why do I need to attach myself? I like Sam, love Sam. Like, he's a sweet, sweet guy.
He's a sweet boy.
Yeah, but I just couldn't attach myself because I knew he was going to die.
So, if you had read this first, though.
I am not going to get into that because I feel like that's a whole episode on its own. I feel like we could do a quick little side episode for everybody discussing our feelings on how we feel reading it third versus if we should have read it first.
I like that. That sounds awesome.
So we're not going to say anything on how we feel.
Okay.
We're going to leave that up to a whole other episode.
Okay.
It'll be a quick one.
Little mini episode?
Like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, a little side episode for everybody. We'll let you guys know when that's coming out.
All right.
It'll be soon, hopefully.
Yeah, that should be a pretty easy one for us.
Yeah, but I don't want to spoil that for everyone right now.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I like it.
All right. So unfortunately, we still have to be in our feelings for a few more chapters.
Yeah.
So everyone bear with us, okay?
Yeah, bear with me, for real. I brought my tissues today.
Yeah, you got your tissues.
Yeah, I got a whole box of them.
All right. So, you ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go.
No escape from fate in Chapter 8.
What was left behind?
Welcome to Chapter 8, where grief doesn't knock. It just walks in and tears everything apart.
They had left Sam's body at the keep because they thought that's where he was living still. It was a message. Celaena hurled the clock, the one she'd stared at all night, the one that had lied. She needed to see him, needed to know it was him. Arabin tried to stop her, told her she didn't want to remember him this way, but she was already walking. He followed, and so did Wesley. When they reached the keep, Arabin led her to the room, and I'm not going to tell you what they did to Sam. You don't need that image in your head. Just know it was brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Hours of it. She vomited. I cried.
Sure did.
He's dead. He's really, really gone.
She sure as shit wasn't going to leave him like this. Not in this cold, silent room that felt more like a tomb than anything else. She laid her cloak over his body, gentle, careful, then climbed up onto the wooden table and laid beside him, curling into his side, like if she held him close enough, maybe this wouldn't be real. He still smelled like Sam, like the cheap soap she always picked out for him. Stupid little detail, but it hit like a blade. But underneath that, something else. A musky scent that didn't belong to him. It was so off, so wrong. It nearly made her throw up again. She heard the soft click of the door behind her as Arobin left. Didn't look, didn't care. She wouldn't leave him. She couldn't leave him. It felt like some fucked up version of Romeo and Juliet, but no one was waking up this time.
Why'd you have to read it like that?
What?
Why'd you have to read it so perfectly?
I don't know. All right, so Arobin's a sick fuck.
Yeah.
He's doing exactly what I said. He wants Celaena to come back to him.
Yeah.
That's why he's there. He's the one that did this, and ugh, so gross. He is gross.
He's so despicable. Ugh.
He's
way worse than Tamlin, in case anybody wanted to know.
Well, that's a whole different.
That's
a whole different thing, though. Like Tamlin, you're comparing MMCs. This dude's not an MMC. He's fucking just
skis bag.
Piece of shit. And you and I have talked about this. I said he's more evil than the king. I said the king is more powerful because of the magic and all that shit. But this dude is more diabolical, sick fuck compared to the king.
I don't know about that. The king killed millions of people. He outlawed magic. He basically...
That's different, though. He's killing people he doesn't give a shit about.
He's doing genocide.
Time out. It'd be like a drone operator going in and bombing some random people that he doesn't fucking know because you're not attached to them. Where Arobin is cold-blooded in doing this to people he supposedly loves.
I will agree that Arobin is more cold-blooded.
Yes.
Yes, I will concur with cold-blooded.
But dangerous because he knows everything about everyone. The fact that he knew everything about where Celaena was, how much money was in her bank account. This dude is calculated. Way more calculated than the king.
We'll see, I guess. I'm sure we're going to get more of both of them, so I guess we'll find out who's more evil and diabolical. I'm intrigued. For me, it's a toss-up. They're both terrible. All right. And
then the final scene here. I know, we have to kind of talk about it a little bit. Fortunately, she wanted to see the body, and it was definitely not a sight that needed to be seen, according to what Farron did to Sam.
No, I'm good without that.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
No. What do you think this musky scent was that was on him, though?
Oh, it was whatever they used to capture him, obviously. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely something they used to capture Sam, because Sam is not some easy capture. He's a badass. All right, well, you ready to turn the page and see what happens next, even though we kind of know what happens next?
Yes, let's go.
Real quick, everybody. I know this episode is a bit of a downer. We know why. This is just a serious episode, and we're just, serious things happen in books. Not everything can be, hilarious and funny, and we actually do enjoy these things, too, because this brings feelings and empathy and sympathy out of us, and right?
I don't know that I need to cry this much and this many times over the same parts, but yes,
right.
For the most part, I can agree with that.
All right, let's get back into it.
All right.
I'm fine. Everything's fine in chapter 9.
Locked in, breaking out.
She barely survived drowning in the dark, and now she's got to face Arobin and her feelings. Welcome to chapter 9.
Celaena woke up to an empty bed, one that used to hold her love, her partner, her best friend. For a moment, she let herself pretend it wasn't real, that this was just another dream, that she'd open her eyes in the keep and find Sam there, still her rival, still smirking, still alive. But reality doesn't wait for permission, it just settles in. Sam was gone, and she didn't move, couldn't. The bed was a tomb now, a place where something once beautiful lived and died.
Celaena is in what's called disenfranchised grief, when your world completely falls apart and somehow the rest of the world just keeps going, like it didn't notice the earthquake. Celaena's in it deep, the kind of loss where time gets weird and you're just watching people laugh, walk, breathe while your whole chest feels hollow. She's spiraling hard, wondering if she's going to forget his face, the shape of his smile, the way his voice sounded when he was teasing her just to make her mad. That's the fear no one warned you about. When the pain isn't... Sorry.
Do you want me to take over? That's the fear no one warns you about. When the pain isn't just that they're gone, but that you might lose even the memory of them. And so she lets the world move on without her, because what the hell else is she supposed to do? All right, scene change. So let's talk about the world's worst conference call happening just outside her bedroom door. 3 men, Harding, Tern, and, oh yes, our favorite snake, Arobin, are standing there loudly discussing how they're going to retaliate against Jane and Farron. Like, this isn't the most obvious red flag in the entire keep. We're talking sirens, confetti cannons. This is a setup. Flashing
Right?
neon.
Pay the fuck attention.
Apparently, they're still striking tonight, going through a second-story window. Very specific plans, like real Ocean's 11 energy, minus the charm. And Arabin, with theatrical flair, tells them to keep it quiet because the mole might still be in the keep. Sir, you are the mole. Anyways. But sure, whisper shout your plans outside Celaena's room like total amateurs. All right, sus level, max level.
Turn and Harding walk off, and in comes Arabin with max level creep vibes. He brushes her face like he didn't just literally sell Sam to die, then locks her in the damn room like some twisted 4-year-old good bullshit. She was full-on Rapunzeled. And that's the moment something shifts. Grief cracks, rage floods in. Celaena flips into full Terminator mode, target locked, Farron, Jane, and if time allows, John Connor. But there's a snag. Arabin and his goons are moving in 3 hours, and she's locked the hell in.
Yeah, she could pick the lock, but that door's probably got another assassin posted on the other side. And honestly, ain't nobody got time for that. So she scans the room. All right, option B, the window. But it's a 2-story drop. And she's in a nightgown. They really put her in a high femme trauma gear and stole her super suit. The audacity. But what they didn't count on? Girl was raised in chaos. She finds some medieval gothware stashed in the room and suits the hell up. Weapons? Not visible. But again, this is Celaena's room. There are 4 daggers in a hidden space in the floorboard. 2 swords built into the bed frame. Thank you, 14-year-old war criminal energy over there. She is locked, loaded, absolutely not playing. Assassin's Creed activated.
And once she's armed and armored in her medieval goth cosplay, she braids that hair back like every badass FMC we know and love. Yeah, we're looking at you, Violet Sorengale. The braid, the cloak for Jen.
Yes.
Always. She's perched at the window, fire in her veins, eyes scanning the compound. She's done waiting. The rage has a direction now. And then, Wesley, our cinnamon roll gatekeeper. Quote, "Where the hell do you think you're going?"
Get out of my way. Arabin can't keep me locked up.
I'm not talking about Arabin. Use your head and think, Celaena.
A flicker of her, a part of her that just somehow vanished since she'd shattered that clock, realized this might be the first time he'd ever addressed her by her name. But still, quote, get out of my way.
I know you want revenge. I do too for what he did to Sam. I know you.
She flicked the blade, angling it enough that he reared back to avoid her slicing a deep line across his throat.
Don't you understand? It's all just a... And with zero hesitation, she pulls a mute master special and drops him like a pro. Dude's still mid-fall when she's already Naruto running into the night.
Girl was on a mission, and not even Arnold Schwarzenegger in full T-800 mode was going to stop her. She had one goal, eliminate Jane, period. But too many guards, too many obstacles, until bingo, she remembered that little tidbit from Harding's eavesdropped conversation. The second story window. All right, let the assassin games begin. She scaled a nearby house like she was the danger, then kicked into full parkour mode, leaping, ducking, vaulting, straight up Assassin's Creeding again, all the way to Jane's place. When she got to the window, the curtains were drawn. No visibility, no clue what was behind door number 1. But like, has anything gone wrong for her yet in this novella? Why would it start going wrong now? So yeah, she Mission Impossibles it through the death window. No plan, no backup, just vibes and vengeance.
All right, real quick. We unfortunately got to go back to the beginning.
Yes, okay. So she is beside herself. She doesn't want to get out of bed. That is completely understandable.
Yeah, so I have been there, obviously, with my brother.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while. The disenfranchised grief that she's feeling where your world's falling apart, you're questioning everything, like why him versus this person, and why does nobody care? The world's moving along. Why am I the only one that gives a shit? Like, that's a real feeling. And sometimes I still feel that, like, you know, it's been 10 years and I'm still like, do people even remember him? Do people care about him? Do people question it, you know, like, and then like not wanting to forget their face. Like, I don't have, you know, very many pictures of him. So, you know, sometimes you just wonder if you're ever going to remember that face again. So.
Sorry, I'm crying.
Yeah, no. Sorry. You know, what she's feeling is real. It sucks. I don't wish that on anybody. Like, losing somebody tragically is not cool. Not being able to say goodbye, not any of that stuff. Say what you want to say to that person ever again.
Yeah.
Sucks. Like, it was different than with my mom because, you know, she had cancer. We knew for years. You know, we had a chance to say goodbye, all that stuff. You know, it's just different when you lose someone so sudden.
Yeah.
So your whole world just turns because you're like, what? Like, again, Sam, perfect example, like Golden Boy, perfect person. Then you're wondering like, oh, but Arobin gets to live. The king gets to live.
All of these terrible people
Yeah, all
are
these
still
terrible people get
alive.
to live. Yeah.
And
Sucks.
you're still alive. So there's the guilt there too.
Exactly. Like, why me? Like, I always felt my brother's better than I am. So it's like, what the fuck? But anyway, but obviously she's one thing that does help you pull out of grief is having something to do. And she has something to do, something big to do. I mean,
Revenge.
Yeah, I mean, obviously revenge isn't usually the best way to get over your grief, but in this case, it is well deserved.
Yes,
so
for sure.
But unfortunately, you and I know what's going to happen to her.
Like, how did she not think these guys talking outside her door? I know that
There's no thinking.
I know.
There is zero thought process in that woman's brain right now.
That's fair.
Because I'm not an assassin. And again, with the grief I felt with my brother, knowing what she feels as an assassin, knowing someone murdered her and knowing that you know who did it,
yeah,
I would not be thinking either, especially like right after you saw what his body looked like.
And now you think you have a way to avenge him.
Yeah, so I can't blame her for this.
So how do you feel about her just bonking Wesley? Same thing. She's just focused.
Her head is not straight right now. She is in temporary insanity right now.
Okay, that makes sense.
She is full on
focused.
Yeah, that's why I said, that's why I use the Terminator terminology, because she is just focused. Nothing is going to stop her from this.
This is her mission.
Fortunately,
now.
something does, but
yeah.
All right. Well, she's jumping through the window, so let's see how she does get caught.
Okay.
Ready to turn the page?
I am. Let's go. No hope to win in chapter 10.
Setup and slaughter.
Welcome to chapter 10, where the revenge mission turns into a trap, and nothing feels more personal than poisoned smoke.
Good news. She stuck the landing. Bad news. There were way more people in the room than just Jane and Farron. Like, a lot more. Almost like, a setup. Yeah, definitely a setup. Fuck it. They can all go. And they do. Easily. She moved like a blade through butter. And Jane, he got the steel straight to the neck. No hesitation. But before she could even process it, more guards came storming in. Like, are they respawning? Is there a Call of Duty server hidden in this damn mansion?
She's slicing her way toward Farron, like full fruit ninja mode.
Hell
just
yeah.
just with blood and trauma instead of produce. But then Maas, new guards wearing those weird masks, and the smoke, that smell. The same one that had clung to Sam's body. Everything starts flickering. Her vision starts going fuzzy. The world is tilting sideways. She tries to fight it. She's so close. But her body betrays her, and the dagger slips from her hand. And through the haze, she sees it. Farron, smiling. They weren't just ready. They were waiting.
They propped her up against the wall like she was just a drunk, pass out at the end of a party. Someone barked orders, don't hurt her. Right, sure. Just let her sit there nice and drugged up. When her eyes opened, Farron's smug ass was right in front of her, grinning like he was a Cheshire cat. Hello, Celaena.
Someone had betrayed her. Not Arobin. Not when he hated Jane and Farron so much. If she'd been betrayed, it would have been one of the wretches in the guild. Someone who would have benefited most from her death. It couldn't be Arobin.
I've been waiting a few years to meet you, you know. To be honest, I'm disappointed. You walked right into our little trap. You didn't even stop to think twice about it, did you? Never underestimate the power of love. Or is it revenge? He tells her the Gloriella will wear off in 6 hours. Classic move. And yeah, she handled pain before. Torture even. But after seeing what they did to Sam, she's not so sure anymore. Her only hope now, Arobin. Oh, sweet summer child.
Oh, Farron does what all gross villains do when they think they've won. He starts monologuing. And he's real proud of himself. Says just the right slimy shit to try to get a rise out of her. And then, of course, he spills the actual plan.
You're dying to know what the bargain was, aren't you? Let's see if I remember correctly. We kill Sam Cortland. You go berserk and break in here. Then you kill Jane. And I take Jane's place. Pity that I need you to take the blame for Jane's death. And if only handing you over to the king wouldn't make such a nice gift.
He's giving her to the king? Not to be noble. Not to play some long game of justice. No, he's just trying to keep the crown off his empire. Keep his hands clean while she gets dragged away in chains. And he thanks her for helping him climb to the top. Like her suffering was just some grand little stepping stone on his way to power. She's still trying to work out who the hell betrayed her. It couldn't be Wesley. He had tried to warn her. And it can't be Arobin, right? Oh, Jesus, Celaena.
Now, Farron's all bent out of shape because he can't toy with her the way he wants, but lucky for her, he's on a schedule. Needs to deliver her somewhere by 11, an hour before Arobin's squad even leaves the keep. Convenient. So instead, he settles for being a petty little bastard and hits her anyway. for the crime of bleeding on his precious rug. Then 3 men walk in, faces she almost recognizes. One of them steps up and without a word, slams the circular pommel of his sword into her head. Lights out.
All right. Interesting. Couple things to break down in this one. Whoops on not knowing what was behind curtain.
Mm-hmm. But she did take down a whole bunch of people and Jane before she got captured.
She did. Unfortunately, it sounds like that was the plan all along, according to Farron. Holy shit. Did he ever say he and who?
Who?
He and who were the one who did the bargain?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So he did a bargain with somebody. Interesting. I wonder if it's with the king. No, I don't know.
No, it's definitely with Arobin.
Yeah, probably.
All right. And then at the very end, those 3 mysterious dudes that were in the keep show up. And you notice the circular pommel, which is why we put it on here.
Rounded pommel.
Rounded. But we don't know where we possibly heard that before.
It just sounded like a very odd detail
Yeah, there's a reason why she put the word rounded instead of just hit with the pommel of the sword. So
maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into the word rounded.
But then,
maybe rounded because it wasn't going to hurt her.
But we kind of glanced over the brass knocker.
That's true.
And we were just like, oh, just a brass knocker, whatever. And then it ended up being Mort.
All right, keeping my eye on the rounded pommel.
That's right.
Well, we got to keep an eye on these 3 dudes anyways, because this is twice now. And she's like, hey, these look familiar somewhere, I think.
And they definitely didn't pop up in Throne of Glass or Crown of Midnight.
No, I can't think of any 3 men.
So my guess is, here's a tinfoil hat for you.
Mm-hmm.
They will pop up again whenever Arobin pops up again. So whenever we get more Arobin in our storyline, I think these 3 will pop up again because she has to get her revenge eventually on Arobin.
I would hope so. I'll be real mad if not.
So these 3 are obviously a part of it. So I would imagine she goes after Arobin. She's going to go after these 3, whoever the fuck they are.
Yeah. All right. I'm excited.
All right. So we still got 2 more chapters.
Yeah.
We got 2 more chapters.
We got 2 more chapters, huh?
Yeah, we got 2 more chapters for you fellers right there, Shonder. God dang. Blink twice. Do we need saved?
I've blinked a lot more than twice. Save me. All right, let's go.
Truth hits like a weapon in Chapter 11.
What remains is silence.
Welcome to Chapter 11, where hope fades, the silence grows teeth, and no one's coming to save her.
Celaena awoke with a headache, shackled and silent. She didn't move, assassin mode engaged, taking in the smells, the weight of her limbs, the Gloriella haze. 6 hours had passed, and she was in a dungeon or a cell, and Sam was still dead. That pain didn't fade. It just morphed into something duller, emptier. Her rage had been spent, used, as part of someone else's game. She was never the player, just a piece on the board.
She finally opened her eyes, and yep, dungeon, shackled to the wall and the floor. No windows, just a thin slice of light under the door. The silence was brutal. No footsteps, no voices, just her own breathing and a pounding headache. And God's what she wouldn't give for a damn sip of water. She's been betrayed by Harding, someone else, whoever it was. They clearly want her gone. And Arobin, still MIA, but she wasn't giving up. Not yet. He had to find her, right? Jesus Christ, woman.
She scanned every inch of that cell. Stones, chains, looking for anything loose. She tugged at the links, twisted her fingers, searched the floor for a pin or a splinter, anything she could use. They'd even taken the pins out of her hair. But if one of them came close enough, maybe she could use these chains. And then the door opened. 3 guards, royal colors. Well, that told her where she was, and they stayed well out of reach. Someone had clearly told them who she was. Smart. And then one of them said, dinner. And something in her broke. Where the hell was Arobin? Why hadn't he come for her?
Like the universe was mocking her, the guard practically reads her mind. No one breaks into the royal dungeons. The chains? Not adamantium. Sorry, Marvel fans. Otterlanian steel, but close enough. And suddenly she knew it had been a whole day. Arobin wasn't coming. And maybe, just maybe, he didn't even know she was here. What the fuck? He knows. Maybe her betrayer, Arobin, had played the King of Assassins like a damn fiddle. Oh my God. She is Delulu.
Delulu, yeah.
Delulu.
Not that it mattered. Sam was dead. Nothing mattered anymore. The girl who once stole Asterian horses and challenged a pirate lord, she was gone. Arobin wasn't coming. And worse, she had failed. She had failed Sam, failed to kill the man who killed him. The guards left and she ate what they gave her because why not? It all tasted like ash. She wasn't escaping. There was no more plan, no more fire. Just this cold place and the truth And when silence returned, she welcomed it. Actually, she walked toward it as though it was the only thing that hadn't lied.
Every now and then, bits of guards' conversations slip through the cracks of silence. Something about sports ball, women, occasionally her. A few comments caught her attention, sharp enough to stir the fog in her mind, but not for long. The quiet always pulled her back under.
More voices drifted through, just noise at first. Names, footsteps, the clink of armor, but then something sharper. The captain won't make it back in time. Trial's tomorrow anyways. Tomorrow. She didn't know who the captain was, but she understood what trial meant.
Another snippet about her filters through the stillness. Soft, uncertain. She's so young. Do you think it's really her? Maybe she's just a patsy? And just like that, the doubt creeps in.
Then came the last blow. Flat. Matter of fact. It's going to be a closed trial. Execution, too. King doesn't want anyone to see her. And that was that. There would be no public spectacle. No crowd. No face to remember. Just silence.
Okay, so.
Real quick. The captain.
Yeah, we know who that is. That's Kale. It's Kale.
Hi, Kale. He's going to miss it. He's going to miss the trial.
Well, she had to
Not that it would have mattered.
Well, she had to explain why Kale wasn't at the trial to begin with and why he had never seen her before when he goes to Endovier. So Kale was just away. Easy explainable.
Yep.
That's all that was, just a throwaway.
Yep.
Like, Kale just wasn't here. That's why he's never seen her before.
He's out on the coast. I want to know what they were doing out on the coast. What were they doing out on the coast? We still don't know, do we? Do we ever find out about that?
I don't think so.
Huh.
Might not be that important.
Maybe. Maybe. I have $10 that says it comes back up.
Okay.
All right. Somebody take note of that.
We have to get back in our feels. What are you doing?
What? Feels? Why are we feeling again?
Because of what Celaena's going through right now.
Oh, because she's in a cell.
You know, after Sam's death, going straight into this and having to sit in a completely pitch black almost cell and sit with nothing but your thoughts.
Yeah. Well, and the silence. So it sounds like she can stop thinking with the silence. Is that what that means?
Well, that's that old saying, the silence is deafening. Because again, her thoughts are just going. And if you and I both think that she's neurodivergent, oh God, please help her.
And she just keeps trying to convince herself that Aravin's coming. Someone's going to save her. Even though, hey, nobody's ever broken out of here. Sorry, Delulu girl.
But again, that goes back to what you and I talked about when it comes to like cult leaders and shit. I forget what it's called. Infallible. There you go. They're infallible leaders.
Yeah.
And they can do no wrong. We are literally seeing it right now.
Yep.
In our actual history, not just in this book. But she still thinks, he cares about me. He's going to do something. He would never do this to me because, he's loved me since I was 8 years old. I'm his protege. I am his favorite, blah, 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 blah.
He's basically like a father figure to her. It's the only person that she's ever believed that she could trust. So.
Because he is very good at manipulation, narcissism, Machiavellism. I mean, he's got it all.
He's got the quadfecta. Is that what you call it? I don't know.
I wonder if he represents like the patriarchy.
Oh, interesting.
There you go.
Okay, that's something to think about.
All right, well, she's sitting in a cell. We got one more real chapter. Then we have a couple, I guess, bonus chapters.
Little bonus chapters, yeah.
All right, you ready to get through this?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what happens next. Dragged through hell in chapter 12.
The sentence and the silence.
Welcome to chapter 12, where the king doesn't just win, he makes sure you remember losing.
And just like that, 2 days had passed. Suddenly, there were crossbows in her face, guards in her cell, a whole new set of shackles, upgraded for walking. How thoughtful. They dragged her into a massive chamber and dropped her into a wooden chair facing a council of 12 men. Those are the 12 councilmen that we know of.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't fight it. There was nothing left to fight, hanging or beheading. That was the only question left. And the worst part, she blamed herself for all of it. Every step, every mistake, whatever they chose, she figured she deserved it.
Then he entered, the king of Otterland.
Boo! I mean, yeah.
Celaena wouldn't look at him. Couldn't. If she made eye contact, whatever tiny sliver of composure she had left would snap. So she stared at the floor, numb and stone-faced. No pleading, no begging. He actually laughed when he saw her. Said he hadn't believed the rumors until he saw how young she was, for himself. He asked her age, and she said nothing. Then he asked if Farron had mutilated her, if maybe that's why she was silent. Still, nothing. Better to be empty than give him anything.
Then he asked the question, the big one. Was she, Celaena, Sardothian? She says nothing. All right then. Silence means yes, apparently. Read the charges. And gods, the list was long. Like, you're going to need a second scroll long. Asked if she denied any of it. Still nothing. Fine. He'll take that as a confession too. what did it matter anymore? She was done, just waiting for the king to pick his poison. But when his boots stomped in front of her, oh shit, he demanded she look at him, and when she did, her whole body screamed, run! But where the hell would she go? Any last requests?
And she nearly missed her chance. Too lost in the memory of Terrasen burning, of the king marching in and stealing everything that mattered. But as he turned to walk away, she whispered it, her final request. Make it quick, but with a wicked smile on her face. Girl, why? Why poke this monster? Anywho, why try to snatch power from a man who burns kingdoms for sport? The king smiled back, and just like that, she knew she had royally screwed up. The fire died inside of her, and the cold set in. His sentence? Not death. 9 lives worth of hard labor in the salt mines of Endovir. And the kicker? Instructions to keep her alive as long as possible. Her blood iced over. Even the councilman flinched. That was worse than what even they had thought was going to happen.
Endovir. It looped in her head like a curse as they dragged her back to her cell, left her there just long enough to think maybe this was all a dream, and then shackled her into a wagon. She stared through the tiny barred window. Rifthold slipped by. The keep, the royal theater, the city that took Sam, and chewed her up right after. She had played the game, and she lost. As the wagon rolled through the gate, she slumped into the corner and let it all go.
High above the city, on some shadowed rooftop, 2 devils watched the wagon disappear. Rourke Farron and Arabin Hamel. Farron was surprised. He'd assumed that this would all end in a beheading and some dramatic 11th hour rescue. But no. Celaena Sardathian was being carted off to Endovir. And Arabin? Stone cold. No plans to intercept. Not from the executioner, and definitely not from the prison wagon. Farron pushed. Why not? It would be so easy. They had the means, the resources, the connections. But Arabin didn't flinch.
Arabin snaps. Says he didn't ask for Farron's opinion. They're allies for now. But that's where the line is. And then Farron finally asked the question, the one that's been burning since this all went to hell. Why? Because I don't like sharing my belongings. Told you. I told you. He did all of this.
He's a shitbag.
Yeah, he did all this because he thinks she is a belonging, not a daughter.
Yeah, he raised her as a weapon, essentially. And I think she said that actually in a couple chapters back. She was essentially raised as a weapon.
Well, think about it. He knows who and what she is.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to share that with anyone. If he can't have it, no one can. So why would he let her go to Endovir? Because that's a death sentence, essentially.
I guarantee him and the king came up with that plan to let her stay alive. The only way this works when it comes to...
But the king just made that up.
Hold on. He didn't. Sorry. He did not just make it up. This was the plan. Literally, he said this. Arabin said this. This was the plan. The reason why, if you think about, I forget, it's not Stockholm Syndrome, it's something else. It might be Stockholm Syndrome. But the only way that it works to get her back the way it was is for her to come back to him. So
she has to hit rock bottom.
Yes, she has to hit rock bottom, and Endovir is literally rock bottom, with no pun intended.
But how he can't expect her to come back?
Yes,
like
he can.
What? Because you think he has some kind of thing. But the king made it up on the spot. But you don't think that was made up on the spot either?
No.
Even when she said, I mean, the way that she worded it made it seem like it was.
Because she thought it was made up on the spot. This is from her point of view.
This is from whose? Oh, yeah.
Celaena's. I mean, not a first-person point of view, but it's like a third-person Celaena point of view. Like, they do it in the book I'm reading right now. The Devils, like, when it switches scenes and it's focused on a different character, like, the words, it's third-person, but it's, like, in their style of, like, manner, like, the way they speak or whatever. It's weird. And that's kind of what they're doing with Celaena. So you're still kind of seeing it from Celaena's point of view because it doesn't jump to anyone else's point of view ever. It's always Celaena's the main focus. So she thinks it's made up on the spot, but Arabin is confirming here it was not made up on the spot. This was planned. So he did a deal with the devil.
He said that.
He did. Because Farron even asked, like, you could have had her killed. Like, he could have just let the king kill her. That would have been a lot easier. Why are you doing this? Because I don't like sharing my belongings. He wants his belonging back. He doesn't want to kill her. The only way to get her back, like you said, is for her to go to rock bottom. And we see it in Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. She's always like, when's Arabin going to come for me? Does he even know I'm still alive? Does he even know I'm still here? Does he know I'm the king's champion? She's still worried about how he feels and what Arabin wants. A whole year later, that's what he wants.
Yeah, no, he gets what he wants. But she's supposed to be dead.
According to who?
Even if.
Yes, the king and all them are hiding her. The king knows that she's Celaena. The king and all them are hiding her. Yes, she's supposed to be dead according to the world. The world is supposed to think Celaena's dead. But Arobynn and the king know she's there. And obviously Dorian, because Dorian and Kale go to get her.
I'll be interested if they dive into this so that we know exactly
they will
how this whole thing went down.
I guarantee we'll get all the answers
Probably
whenever she hunts him down.
Good. I look forward to hearing about that then.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have a side quest, though.
Mm-hmm.
During the part where Farron and Arobynn were talking, there was this little paragraph, and I'm going to quote it. It had been on this very rooftop that Farron and the King of the Assassins had first run into each other. Farron had been going to spy on one of Jane's mistresses, and Arobynn, well, Farron had never learned why Arobynn had been meandering across the roofs of Rifthold in the middle of the night.
Yes, and you and I talked a little bit about this earlier, so I think this is, again, tinfoil hat, the reason why he was out on that roof, because we know Farron's dead. Had we read this first, we wouldn't know that Farron's dead, but we know Farron's dead, that he was killed by Wesley, and Wesley was killed by somebody. We both think it's Arobynn to, loose ends thing. So I'm wondering if he was looking at Jane to take him out himself that night. Farron caught him, and then he had to do oh, hey there, and then they came up with a plan themselves. So he gets Farron as now the king of the underworld or whatever, and then Arobynn takes him out. So now Arobynn's the king of the assassins and now the king of the crime lord. So now he has both kingdoms. That's what I think. So he was going to try to get Jane out of the way anyway, and now he gets Jane and Farron out of the way.
I bet I have no doubt that this is foreshadowing for what we're going to learn, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, we'll learn what this was about.
Yeah.
When she probably confronts Arobynn.
No, I would not be happy if we finish Kingdom of Ash and we still don't have answers. I'll be so pissed. I will throw everything.
SJM, we need answers? Yeah. Especially after how much we've deep dived into this.
I will put this down right now. I don't care how good Kingdom of Ash is. If we don't have answers as to why he was on that rooftop or why he did what he did to Celaena, then I will not consider this one of the greatest series. Because then you didn't answer. You left a loophole.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to close that loophole.
She has not left us any loopholes.
No,
yet,
she hasn't.
So.
I mean, I feel like she's going to close it, but I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying. Pressure's on.
Pressure is on.
Pressure's on.
All right.
All right. So we have the
after.
I'll do the jokes when we get into the chapters.
All right. Are you ready to turn the page then?
Let's go. After.
So is this after the first after, but before the beginning? Or is this the beginning of the after that's after the beginning? All right. Timeline chaos aside. This is just 2 days after Celaena was chained into that prison wagon. Ugh. The trek to Endovir would take 2 weeks. 2 weeks of endless road, frigid winds, and the growing realization that she was heading somewhere no one came back from. The air got colder the farther north they traveled. The wagon stayed dark. Her only companions were the light and shadows flickering across the wooden walls. 2 weeks, that's all she had left before the salt mines swallowed her whole. Most didn't survive a month. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. She just curled tighter into herself and watched the shadows dance across the wall.
Excited whispers and the crunch of boots on frozen leaves pulled her into the wagon's tiny window. They'd entered Oakwald Forest early on the first day. Nothing but trees now. Endless, ancient, watching. And that's when she saw it. Standing quietly in the tangled patch of thorns. Do I have to say it? A white stag appeared. Appeared. The Lord of the North. He turned his head slowly, like he knew exactly where she was, like when he was in the tapestry. His eyes locked onto hers through the slats in the wagon. The whole world held its breath.
So the people of Terrasen will always know how to find their way home. The words came unbidden into her mind, or maybe from everywhere. As the stag stared at her, the silence cracked just a little, like frost underfoot. But how was he here, so far from Terrasen? How had he survived the culling? The king's order to butcher every last sacred white stag. I think that's the first we heard about that. Anyways, what kind of monster slaughters something like that? I mean, sacred feels like code for magical, right?
Yeah, magical.
Not magically appearing in tapestries, I swear to God.
She didn't even realize she was crying until the warmth of her tears hit her raw cheeks. And then the sound, bowstrings being drawn back. The stag didn't flinch, didn't run, just stood there, watching her, calm as the gods themselves. Then something primal ripped through her. Rage, desperation, fear.
Run!
Her voice broke the forest. She slammed her shackled fists against the woods, screaming it again.
Run now!
The stag finally turned and bolted. Arrows flew, every single one missed, and just like that, the forest swallowed him whole, like he was never meant to be caught, like some sacred thing in a Studio Ghibli fever dream.
She backed away from the window, pressing herself to the back wall of the wagon. The numbness is gone. The silence is shattered. Now she feels everything. Every bruise from Farron's men, every raw patch where the shackles had rubbed her skin bloody, and that hollow, screaming place where Sam had once been. She was going to Endovir to be a slave. And this time, it wasn't rage that swallowed her. It was fear.
Yeah, fear that you're going to lose this stag battle.
I mean, that's a legitimate fear.
You cannot tell me, after all of this, the Lord of the North, all the white stags have been slaughtered. You cannot tell me that first glance at that big-ass tapestry, she would not notice the stag, considering in this entire book, that's all she notices. The stag constellation. There's a stag there, stag everywhere. You're going to tell me she would not have noticed that right away.
That stag did not magically appear in that goddamn tapestry.
Words matter.
Yes, words fucking matter.
And the words aren't there.
And the words are not there. Just one little word would change that.
You don't need it.
Yes, I do. In order to make what you're saying happen, I need at least one word.
Mm-hmm.
Or even just some random words sprinkled around it that sound magical. But no, there's no magically appearing stag.
It's a magical ass tapestry, first of all.
What?
It was.
How is it a magical tapestry?
Didn't it move and shit?
In the wind?
I thought it moved on its own, too. Like there was some shit moving and whatnots.
No.
We're going to go back.
Yeah, we're going to have to go back to that part.
Check it out.
Yeah, this mysterious stag appearing.
Now we got to go back to the beginning. Literally, because that's a fucking chapter name. The beginning.
It is. All right. Are you ready to turn the page?
Let's go.
Beginning.
Beginning of what? So
of your monologue.
The beginning is at the end of the book. The after is at the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
Or beginning of the novella. Whatever.
Novella, yes. But we also had an after before the beginning.
But what about the beginning before the after? Wouldn't that be where we're at now in the beginning?
I think this is the beginning before the after, before the other after.
Oh, that's right. Before the beginning of the after.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So I know where we're at now. Ready?
Okay, good. Yes.
All right. Celaena could still feel it shift. The land, the air, herself. The trees disappeared behind jagged cliffs and broken stone. The sky narrowing between mountain peaks like a cage snapping shut. Somewhere ahead, a whip cracked. Endovir. She wasn't ready. God, she wasn't ready. But she was glad Sam wasn't here. Glad he wouldn't see her unravel like this. Wouldn't hear the sob that ripped out of her chest like it had claws. And then, just for a second, a breeze. Faint, fleeting, and it smelled like terracin, like forests and home and a world that hadn't burned. She closed her eyes, dug in. She had to stand up. If she went in broken, she would never make it out.
The wagon slowed. Another whip cracked. She whispered it from the floor, voice cracked and breath ragged. My name is Celaena Sardathian. And just like that, the breeze turned to wind, not just around her, but through her, like it was stripping away what was left of the broken girl and making room for something harder, braver, unbreakable. She would go into Endovir. She would survive. She would carry Sam in her heart. And no matter what they did, she would not break.
She didn't know who had done this to her. Not yet, but she would. The wagon passed through the tunnel carved into the wall, Endovir yawning open before her, all screams and stone and shadow, but she didn't flinch. She stood tall, shoulders back, spine straight. She held her chin high as the guards removed her from the wagon, walking into Endovir on her own 2 feet.
My name is Celaena Sardathian, and I will not be afraid. I did it!
Yay! Without crying.
I'm so close. I'm trying.
Suck it in!
I'm trying so hard. Well, it sounds like she's in Endovir now.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So we're at the beginning of
Throne of Glass.
Book 1 or Book 2, whichever way you went.
So you're either on Throne of Glass now, or you're headed to, Heir of Fire? And I guess some people, read it fourth before Queen of Shadows?
The other way on that big sheet is to read it fourth after Heir of Fire. That's supposed to be the more romantic view. We'll find that out after we read Heir of Fire, apparently.
Okay, all right.
I know that our listeners are hoping we slip up and say which way we prefer to read it, but we're not going to.
Nope.
So you're going to have to wait till that episode comes out. I know you're still waiting for Iron Flame. I swear to God, we're working on that. It's just a lot. There's a lot in that book, a lot for us to remember. We're working on it. Promise. Iron Flame's coming out. We're going to have a very short episode on how we felt Assassin's Blade, where we want to read it, or if we should have or keeping it where we're at.
Yep. What our opinion was on the reading order.
Exactly.
And then I guess we'll have to do it again after Air of Fire to see if we still agree with that opinion. All right. That sounds like fun.
All right. So this is our last He Said, She Said for the Assassin's Blade. Are you ready?
I think I've got it this time.
All right. Let's go.
All right. Let's go.
All right, folks. It's time for He Said, She Said, the game where we test each other's knowledge of this week's chapters by guessing who said what.
Or more accurately, it's the game where I win because Scott either overthinks it or totally blanks out.
Excuse me? I'm just giving you the illusion of superiority. It's called strategery.
Is that what we're calling it? Anyway, we've each picked 3 quotes, and the other person has to guess who said them. 30 seconds, no hints, no lifelines, maybe some multiple choice if he begs.
And apparently no mercy either. Let's get to it before Genevieve starts drafting her victory speech. Welcome back to He Said, She Said. This is the final one for the Assassin's Blade and part 2 of the Assassin and the Empire.
Woohoo!
All right, so I noticed the first couple chapters really wasn't much to choose from.
Yeah, that's true. I have nailed the easy one. I don't think I could be any more certain.
Well, I'd hope so. It's the easy one.
Listen, I have had issues with the easy one, so it's obviously not as easy as you make it seem.
Let's see what you got.
All right, are you ready?
Yep.
My name is Celaena Sardothian.
I'm going to say Wesley to Arobin.
Ooh, incorrect.
Damn it.
No.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, that is easy.
I mean, yeah.
Nailed it.
That's not easy. That's a gimme. That's just like here.
Listen, that wasn't an option. Gimme is not an option.
All
All right, so not a gimme. Got it. All right, what's your easy one? Yes.
This is kind of a gimme.
Mm.
If it is an easy death you desire, Celaena Sardothian, I will certainly not give it to you.
Well, I assume that that's going to be the king of Otterland to Celaena. All right, so I mean that's fair. You didn't say who Celaena said it to, though. Who did Celaena say it to?
Herself.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I said the Void, but yeah, I guess
A
herself
Void,
works too.
Or Sam.
Or
Sam's
Sam,
ghost.
or yeah. All right. Okay, are you ready for the medium?
Go for it.
Jane and Farron will be expecting retaliation.
Turn to Arobin.
No.
Harding.
Harding, yes.
Oh, okay. That was one
so
of the-
close.
yeah.
Yep, you were good. All right,
Okay.
who you got?
Ready?
Yep.
Get out of my way.
Out of my...
Yeah. Get out of my way.
Ooh, that is Celaena to Wesley when he tried to stop her.
There you go.
Yes. Okay. All right, you ready for my hard one?
What?
You have no idea.
Gross.
You have no idea.
About your hard one? I don't have any idea. No, I know what you're saying. Okay. The king to Celaena.
Negative.
Okay.
That was Farron to Arobin
Okay.
when he said, "Hey, man, you're kind of fucked up." And he's like, "You have no idea."
No, that's a good one.
All right, what have you got for your hard one?
A leap like that could be fatal.
Leap like that could be fatal. Okay, so it's that same conversation with the guys outside of her door.
Damn it.
A leap like that could be, it's got to be Harding because he's the one who talked about the second story window. So I'm going to say Harding to the guys in the hall.
That's incorrect.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's the other guy's turn.
Ah, dang it. Okay. All
So
right.
you had the one, I had the other.
Yeah. All right. Hey, whatever.
All right, what's your bonus?
All right. My bonus. Do you deny any of the charges?
I mean, that'd be the king.
It's my bonus.
That'd be the king.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, that's my guess.
Counselor Renzel.
Ah, wow, nice. Good one.
That should have been my hard one, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's still
Well,
fine.
I still the
That's
hard one
It's
was
a
okay.
bonus. The bonus is supposed to fit anywhere, pretty much.
Yeah.
I usually try to go medium. That way, it's like, that's still kind of medium. I honestly just peruse through these,
Mm-hmm.
so I totally forgot that dude was even there.
Yeah.
Are you ready for my bonus?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
That's so rude.
What's rude?
Why wouldn't I remember the 2 words that Arobin stabs her in the heart with?
Maybe we had to get your crying quota out of here. You were one more cry away.
Have you got bets on how many times you can make me cry in an episode? I'm going to go check out our Discord to see where you're doing this.
How dare you?
All right.
Did you guess?
Oh, no, I didn't actually. What was it again?
These
I'm
are the
sorry.
2 words that I remember
Arobin
more
to
than
Celaena.
anything.
It
What
was
were?
Arobin to Celaena. I didn't think I had to spell it out.
These are the 2 words that I remember. What were they? What?
I went off on a tangent.
I'll remember these words for the rest of my life. What are they again? Sorry, I gave you a southern accent, but my female voice somehow goes southern woman.
She does every time. I don't understand it, but every time. All right. Well,
Probably because that's all we're living around is that.
yeah, that's true. That's your influence here. Okay. All right.
All right. Well, that was fun.
That was awesome.
So you ready for the last Assassin's Whisper in the Assassin's Blade?
I
It's
am.
a lot of assassins.
It is a lot of
Jesus
assassins.
Christ.
I love it. Let's get more assassins.
Welcome, Seekers of Secrets, to Assassin's Whisper. I am Obsidian, sharp as a blade, clever as a riddle, and never where you expect me.
And I am Garnet, the shadow you sense but cannot see, and the voice that carries truths only the bold dare to hear.
Together, we are the Keepers of Whispers, guardians of the secrets of Aurelia, entrusted to pass them on to only the most cunning assassins.
This is your covert briefing, a recap of what has transpired in the world of Aurelia. Pay attention, assassin. The truth is a weapon, and we're here to make sure you wield it well.
Listen carefully for every whisper.
Welcome back, my deadly darlings. The Whispers have been waiting for you, and this week they mourned the death of freedom as it slipped through Celaena Sardathian's blood-stained hands. Sam Cortland, her heart, her anchor, was fed to a trap built by the man who called himself her master, and now only silence remains.
Arrow Ben Hamel played his game to perfection. One whispered command, one betrayal buried in gold and guilt, and Celaena was broken, caged, and sent to Endovir to disappear. His punishment wasn't just for her escape. It was for daring to love without permission.
But the past always leaves echoes. Rourke Farron didn't live long past his crime. And Wesley? Well, for those of us who've walked deeper into her journey, you already know what price he paid. The pieces were always on the board. We just hadn't seen how they were placed.
And now, we return to the fire. Celaena is no longer the girl we saw chained to that wagon. We followed her through glass and shadow, grief and vengeance. And next, we cross the sea, not as a girl in chains,
but as a weapon in exile, a queen in hiding, a soul on the edge of burning. Gwendolyn awaits, and so does Heir of Fire. The Whispers are listening, and the storm is coming.
Until next time, walk the shadows and trust only the Whispers.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Booked for Two.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to help other book lovers find the show.
Find us on socials at Booked for Two Podcast for behind-the-scenes content, updates, and sneak peeks. We'll also post next week's chapters every Sunday, so you can read along.
Join us for our live Q&A. We are back to Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Central on TikTok. We'll answer your burning questions, react to your theories, and occasionally overshare our book-related emotional damage.
If you want even more chaos, join our Discord. The link is in our bio. Come hang out, chat books, and get early access to exclusive content.
Finally, don't forget to grab your stickers and bookmarks at bookfor2.com.
Until next time, keep turning the page.